The pain captured in an exclusion frame. A family that considers an unborn girl child a shame. Meals for girls and boys provided are not the same. Girl child's education denied, her dreams go up in a blaze. Careers of educated women stereotyped, cut, copy and paste. Young women from bustling societies trafficked for money. Safety of women is a matter of deep concern, piercing agony. Daughters married leave home without their father's surname. Women in marital homes face intimate partner violence and defame. Equal access to job opportunities, but no mention in the Hall of Fame. Seated in the meeting without a voice, not everyone knows her name. Sacrificed her desires, ensuring family gained social acclaim. Hidden and unexplored talents go down with her in vain. Several million women's pain captured inside an exclusion frame. Who is going to stand up, speak up, and show up for the rights of women? Who is going to empower the women in our community? Who is going to focus on a gender equal world that benefits everyone? Here we are, Lord. The Women's Commission ensures that every woman in the Archdiocese of Bangalore feels inclusive and safe.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
In those days, Mary arose and went with haste into the hill country to a town in Judah. And she entered the house of Zechariah and greeted Elizabeth. And when Elizabeth heard the greeting of Mary, the baby leaped in her womb. And Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. And she exclaimed with a loud cry, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. And why is this granted to me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me? For behold, when the sound of your greeting came to my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. And blessed is she who believed that there would be a fulfillment of what was spoken to her from the Lord." And Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
My dear Bishop, Chairman of the Women's Commission, my dear fathers, my dear Sister Lidwin, the Secretary of the CCBI Women's Commission, my dear sisters, and my dear brothers who are in few number today. We are men folk are in minority today. That doesn't mind, because ultimately all of us depend on women. I welcome all the delegates who have come from all over India for this beautiful program that has been convoked in Bangalore. I also welcome our own women, the president of the CWC, Priya Francis, all the office bearers, and the women from different parishes, what we call the Catholic Women's Collective from the parishes. I am sure that something about our women will be told to you from the Bangalore women. We are very happy about them. Not only they have sprung up when everything was dying during COVID time, the women rose up and the women started what's called their Catholic Women's Collective. Can you imagine that they were increasing and multiplying on the computers and on online screens? I was sent what we call the photos of their gatherings, and very specially to see that every day, that every week, they had one new group in every parish. Besides that, there are many women among us who are not only church going or perhaps church resourceful, but also in the city they are well known for their contributions in different fields as resource persons, as the ones who give input for many of the topics, etc. There's something else that I have to say about the Bangalore women, the Catholic women. If today we have a new government, what's called the Congress, if we have what we call the Congress government, I think some credit has to be given to our women for bringing in a new government here. That is because they were part and parcel of what's called our election consciousness group that constantly was viewing, or rather checking the ID cards of not only theirs, their family members, their neighbors, their friends, and their outer circle of their perhaps aunts and uncles and so many other places, because nobody says no to a woman. And that is how they managed to get more and more people. I'm told more or less more than 30,000 new voters, or rather the voter ID cards were secured and confirmed. This perhaps is a small example of what women can do. And each of them is an icon. Each of them can be a brand, as it were. Because every woman is different, but every woman is unique. You know, there was a class of youngsters going on, and the teacher, in order to get the children a little interested, these modern things, and so teacher said, I will tell you the slogan. You have to tell me which brand. Which brand? And she said, get a Mac. And the brand is Apple. The fathers know it. Think small. Think small. Volkswagen. Volkswagen. Great taste and less filling. Great taste and less filling. I think it's the Coke. The Coke. And I hope the youth at least know these things. And one more was, just do it. But the guy who answered it, he didn't know. And when it was asked, just do it, he said, Mummy, he said. Because mummies say, just do it, and it's done. And it's done. What I'm trying to say is perhaps the world has come to realize, in spite of all our weaknesses and shadiness, that we cannot do without women. The women's development, the women's growth, the women's progress is the progress of a nation. Today in the galaxy of nations, if you count, there are certain nations that have not perhaps grown up. It's because they have not respected, they have not considered, they have not given the due prime to the women as such. We are in a religious milieu. We are celebrating the Eucharist today. And perhaps church-wise or even divine-wise, what we can think of the women as such. You have chosen a beautiful gospel today. The best gospel that gives woman her due. And to tell you honestly, if I can analyze it in your context, perhaps I can say 5 things. First of all, the women are empowered in their own way. You don't have to empower them. You don't have to perhaps spend and waste your time on them. The first sentence in today's gospel says that Mary went with haste to a Judean town in a hill country. Mary went in a haste. Mary could have just walked. Mary could have just dragged her feet. But she goes in a haste. Because every woman is what's called multitasked. There are so many things that she can do at one time. Whereas we men, we get bogged down to one thing, and that also we don't do it well. But the women are capable of thinking so many things to run in a haste, as it were, to something. The second thing that I can think of is that Mary perhaps is not only empowered, but the chosen one. Chosen one. God has given perhaps the choice first to a woman, then to a man in this gospel. You know, in the Jewish tradition, like in our own traditions, perhaps we have what's called the patriarchal trend, wherein the men are given first chance, first choice, first this one. But today the angel asks not Joseph, would you like to have a family? Would you like your wife to be the mother of God? Perhaps that could have been the normal thing to ask Joseph. But the angel asks Mother Mary. Meaning to say that God always has not only the balance, but perhaps even beyond the balancing of between men and women to give Mary a chance. Thirdly, it's Mary who says yes. You know, as in our theology we go on discussing these things. If only Mary had said no, what would have happened? You couldn't think of, let us say, not only our redemption but also of our religion. Mary's decision was very important. And Mary's decision was a decisive one that was required, and that is required of every woman to be decisive, to say yes to the Lord. Fourthly, we see that Mary gives birth to Jesus. By nature, a woman is not only empowered in herself, she is also created to be for others. For others. In order to be a mother, in order to be a sister, in order to be a wife, perhaps always others. And that is why innate it comes so natural to her to be, to share, to give, to care for the others. And lastly, we say that from Mary comes our spirituality. From the mother comes our religion, as it were. We speak so much about the language. We say mother tongue. You know, everything that a man acquires is because of the superiority of the women in some cases, in many cases. It's not only the mother tongue, the mother taste. You know, the taste comes from the mother. The culture comes from the mother. The mannerism comes from the mother. And I think it is right to believe that compassion and mercy comes from the mother. And that is why I would say that perhaps even though we do not balance, man is unique, woman is unique. And in today's world, if we do not consider the women as unique and special, perhaps it has to be corrected, because women are special, women are unique, women are empowered, women are self-giving for the others. And this is the gospel. This is what we teach. This is what we believe. So my dear brothers and sisters, I would summarize and say that God has created woman. And just as we have rejected many things in our life, even the good things that God has given us, perhaps we have also rejected women in our life, in our religion, in our church, perhaps in our society also. And that is why we need groups like this to empower the women. We need groups who can show us what is leadership among the women. We need people among us to say that ultimately we not only appreciate but also we are grateful to the women in our life.
We, the Women's Commission members of the Bangalore Archdiocese, are wholeheartedly committed to empower women through various activities, initiatives, programs, and seminars that we conduct. Last year in 2022, we recorded 250 initiatives across all the parishes in the Archdiocese. There's more. This year, we have already reached 450 initiatives. This shows that the parish women's cells are really very vibrant. In addition to all our initiatives, we are focusing on influencing the ecosystem that surrounds our women. There are 4 ships that are propelling us in the desired direction. Would you like to know what they are? Our captain of our ship is our chairperson, Most Reverend Archbishop Peter Machado, who is guiding us towards the horizon. The first ship is called as the process ship. So in addition to implementing policies, the experts that we have in our Women's Commission contribute our perspectives to the national and international forums to design policies and principles. An example is the Child Safeguarding Policy. We are currently rolling out child safety guidelines in all our parishes. We are focusing on spreading awareness on the POSH and institutionalizing the internal complaints committees in all our parishes. This is a mandatory requirement by the law, and we adhere to it. We are also ensuring robust reporting mechanisms for the domestic violence so that adequate support and justice is provided to women at the right time in our community. While these are the processes, the second ship is partnership. We are not alone in this journey. We are forging partnerships with NGOs like Actions We Empower to eliminate domestic violence, Global Concerns of India on Human Rights, BMSS, CROSS, and various other NGOs. We are also building alliances with various commissions in the Archdiocese. We have 22 commissions in the Archdiocese, and we partner with many of them. Our message is very clear. We are all stronger together as a community. The third ship is powership. The Women's Commission is focusing on igniting political consciousness within our community, while at the grassroots level, it could be supporting the voter ID drives, enrollment of graduates and teachers in the upcoming MLC elections. We also encourage more and more women to participate in politics and be the voice of our community.
The fourth ship, are you curious? Sponsorship. What I had in mind is leadership. As leaders, we encourage women to stand up, to speak up, and show up for worthy causes. The peaceful gathering to protect the rights of women in Manipur is one of the several important causes that we support. We challenge the unhealthy status quo that inspire change in the mindset of people. Women empowerment on one side and enabling a very progressive ecosystem on the other side. This is the only way that we can create inclusive spaces where our empowered women in our community can truly flourish. Bangalore Archdiocese Commission for Women will sail in any turbulent seas and reach our destination of a gender-equal society which promises all of us joy and peace. I would now like to take a minute to acknowledge all our parish priests for being true champions of gender equality, for guiding and supporting the women's cells in their objectives. And as of date, we have 50 women's cells in the Archdiocese of Bangalore.
We live in a digital age where technology has given us a lot of comfort. It has robbed us of being humans. As you watch the scenes being enacted, let our conscience be awakened to the brutal reality and our own lukewarm response or indifference towards families suffering from domestic violence. A good-for-nothing alcoholic husband is sprawled in a stupor. Is sprawled in a drunken stupor. The hard-working wife returns from office after a long day of work, tired. The daughter is starving and asks her mother to give her some food.
Please, Mom, can you give me something to eat? I'm so hungry, Mama. Thank you, Mama. I love you.
The mother quickly prepares a meal and serves her. She wakes her husband to eat. As soon as he gets up,
Get up, please.
he demands money from his wife. So, so he can
Whiskey.
consume more alcohol.
Papa,
When she refuses,
ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿರಿ.
he gets in
Yes.
and starts beating her ruthlessly. The daughter watches in terror as the mother falls to the ground, bruised and bleeding. Hearing the commotion and the
Yenamma?
cries,
ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ
the neighbors come out. The neighbors come out. They watch like mute spectators.
ಅಯ್ಯೋ, what's happening? This family, I say, always fighting. Look at that useless fellow, drunk as ever, beating his wife. No use here. Come on, let's go. Why should we interfere? Come on, let's go.
Then shrug and walk away. Help comes a few days later in the form of a social worker. This Good Samaritan, who works with the women of the locality, gets to know of the situation and immediately reaches out to them.
I
She
understand.
listens empathetically and gives them good counsel.
You should give up on your drinking You have a beautiful little daughter. Yes, I will help you.
In due course, the husband has given up drinking. He has reformed into a responsible parent and a loving husband. They pray together every evening and spend quality time. The tears have turned into joy, the screams into laughter, thanks to the timely intervention of the Good Samaritan. Need for a better standard of living. With nuclear families, there is no support system. The lady of the house, in most cases, has to step out to earn a living to cater to the expenses. Children are left unattended most of the time and become victims of sexual perpetrators. The father's younger brother, who lives abroad, comes to spend a few days with the family. When the parents are away,
Oh, look, he's here. My brother. Hi. Hi, how are you? Hello. And who's this sweet little girl? She's grown so big. She's so beautiful.
when the parents are away, he misuses the trust factor. The child is just 13 years old. She is innocent and does not understand what the uncle is up to. He gives her chocolates and makes her promise that she should not tell her parents about their secret touching game.
Shh. This is between us. Come. Come, sit. You're so sweet. Come. Don't tell anyone, okay? Shh.
One day, the mother comes home early. To her surprise, she sees her daughter restless. Upon inquiring, the little girl
What happened, my
complains
child?
of pain in her
Why are you
private
crying?
parts.
Come here, sit. Sit. Relax. Tell me.
She-
Mama. Continue.
She tells her mother what her uncle used to do once they were alone. The mother is horrified and enraged. Her husband's own brother, whom they love and trust, is a sexual predator. She hugs her daughter and cries.
Oh no. What's happened? The person we trusted the most has done this to my daughter. Oh God. What should I do now?
Dear friends, the first step to stop this from happening in our homes, schools, workplaces is to be aware of the various forms of sexual harassment. Educate yourselves and in turn educate all the children. Let them know the elements of what is a safe circle or safe environment. The rule, yell, tell and run to the person you know, you trust, must be practiced with the children. We at Women's Commission, Bangalore Archdiocese, have a dedicated team for child safety and prevention of sexual harassment. Awareness workshops are conducted on a regular basis for the women and girl children at the parishes.
To you, these fabulous ladies who put together a brilliant show with a great message for all of us. Please give them a big hand. We have our wonderful narrator, Elaine Menezes. Elaine, a big hand for you. Vidya Sequeira, the Levite and mother. Rati Prabhu, the wounded Jew and drunken husband. Matilda Matthias, the good Samaritan and social worker. Elizabeth R., the priest and social worker. Elizabeth? Sonia, the daughter and neighbor. Where's Sonia? Wow. Elaine D'Souza, the uncle and the robber. Elaine? Elaine's coming up, yes. And Anita D'Souza, the robber and neighbor. We have the script writer and director and producer, Jean Magesh. The editor and creatives, Lorna Lobo. And the events team work like war horses to give you a spectacular and memorable evening.